Welcome back to In Conversation With, your one-stop podcast for all your educational entertainment. For our second episode, we are honored to welcome a very special guest, Dr. A. Sivathanu Pillai, a renowned Indian scientist and a visionary, known for his pioneering work in India's aerospace and missile programs. With a remarkable career spanning over a decade, Dr. Pillai has contributed to groundbreaking projects like the BrahMos missile, symbolizing India's technological prowess. Today, he'll share insights from his journey, his experiences in cutting edge scientific research, and the role of innovation in shaping the future. We're incredibly excited to dive into this conversation.
Today, we're in conversation with the CEO and Managing Director of the BrahMos Aerospace Private Limited. He is a globally renowned defense technologist, an Indian scientist who has made pivotal advancements in the field of satellite launch vehicles, guided missiles, and aerospace systems.
He's formerly served as the Chief Controller of Research and Development in India. He holds numerous PhDs in technology management from Savitrabai Phule Pune University, Maharashtra. Furthermore, he is the recipient of several honorary doctorates from 15 reputed universities of India and Russia.
He is extremely decorated and he has been awarded with the Raja Ram Mohan Puraskar, Lokmanya Tilak Award, Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan in 2013 by the President of India himself. He is the author of over 10 books, co-authored alongside the former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who he had a deep friendship with.
Say hello to Dr. A.S. Pillai. We're extremely pleased to have you on board with us.
Before starting with the questions, I would like to introduce a very special guest, his granddaughter Anushka Duraivelu, a student at grade 11 TMS who has numerous experience in public speaking such as TEDx, MUNs, even inter-school debates. We're really pleased to have you here, Anushka. You're a dear friend to us and we're super excited to interview both of you.
Now we're about to dive into some explosive questions, so get ready for answers that will truly blow your mind.
Starting off with the first question. Dr. Pillai, you have had a significant role in India's space and defense programs. Could you share the most challenging and rewarding moments during your tenure at DRDO and ISRO?
So ISRO, I started my career in ISRO. I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, who was the visionary and father of the space program for India. So he taught me for first 1 year how to vision. So we drew up a plan for 10 years of the space profile. It's all his vision, but I helped him to draw the plan. So that was my initial experience as a youngster to work with a great visionary. Subsequently, we had a challenging program called SLV-3, Satellite Launch Vehicle. The first satellite launch vehicle of India to put the satellite into the orbits. There's a big challenge with the 44 systems and mostly 4 steps, 4 stages. Yes. And really it was a challenging because there was no knowledge at that time in India. So we had to bring all the development effort, we had to develop the technologies and make these 4 stages and the systems, guidance, control, and also the satellite, and then plan the mission. That was really a challenging task. Dr. Abdul Kalam was the project director. I had the opportunity to work with him as a core team member to see that that program goes well. So that was the biggest challenge. That put the base for ISRO today to become a very big organization. So that was the challenging task which I experienced as a youngster just out of the college.
Wow, we're truly inspired by that, sir.
You work with BrahMos, revolutionized India's missile capabilities. What do you believe is the next frontier for India's defense technology sector in this era of artificial intelligence?
See, first, what we thought was we should overtake the developed countries in technology. So when we have seen the war theater, we found there's a cruise missile, Tomahawk, of the Americans controlling the whole war scenario. So we wanted to overtake that. So we thought Unlike the Tomahawk, which is a subsonic cruise missile, we wanted to develop a supersonic cruise missile. We developed and we have overtaken the Americans, and we made India the first country to have a supersonic cruise missile in all the platforms. Even Russia doesn't have. We have got that in all platforms. So that is the biggest achievement once you have got. Now we have to look at the next. In the AI scenario which you talked, we are now trying to integrate AI into our systems. And particularly the AI technology is very crucial for the future war theatre, because it assimilates all the inputs which are required, and the awareness, it gives the situation awareness. So we are now trying to take a step into hypersonic. From supersonic, we are going to hypersonic, where the speed is going to be 7 times faster than sound. So with that, integrating with the AI, we have got a big plan to see that it is operated by mind. You know, the future war theatre will be jammed by microwaves. So once the microwave flies over the theatre, all the electronic systems will be switched off. Only mind can work. So we want to, like, what Krishna thought, he has to operate from his mind, the Sudarshan Chakra, we want to operate the missile. That is our next future.
Wow, that was really inspiring answer. A lot of things flew over my head, but I think I got the general point of what you were trying to say. Moving on. In your long and decorated career, you've worked with numerous scientists. What qualities do you believe are essential for a successful career in the scientific field?
See, mostly we are not creative. The problem is in our education system in India. Basically, the problem is we want the children to be, to be taught. It should not be teaching, is to be stopped. People, they should think. Thinking is important. That is, you have to create creative minds. Creative minds only can bring novels. See what Einstein, if you say Einstein or Ramanujam or great scientists if you take, they were thinkers. They were creative people. They were not interested in studies in schools and all those things. So the system which is there now today is not creative. We have to make things creative. Once you have got a creative mind, they can think big. So what is needed is today is thinking big. Small aim is a crime. You should go for a big thing, you should think to become. That's what Sarabhai did. So we have to make it like that. Think big, work hard, acquire knowledge, and solve problems.
So you'd say in the scientific field, creativity is just as important as educational.
It is more than education.
It's more important.
More important.
That's a really interesting perspective. I don't think we've ever heard that before.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, because even if you see in the past, the minds, like the names which you mentioned, instead of focusing more on school, even though education is important, especially in current times, they used to focus more on their thinking, their ability to create something new and revolutionize the world. And because of them, those great mind thinkers, we are sitting here because of their innovations. So again, I do agree with your response, sir.
So what Dr. Abdul Kalam used to say, learning gives you creativity. The creativity leads to thinking. And thinking makes you greater thoughts it brings. That only you will become a great person. That's what he used to say. That means you need to learn. Not that I am not talking about the teaching. I'm talking about learning. Learning is very important. Lifelong learning is important. Learn, acquire the knowledge. Work hard to do your aim. You have got an aim to do. Once you become a professional manager, aim is there. So you have to go in that direction, no doubt about it. But you have to work hard to get that.
Absolutely. All right. So our next question is, you've worked closely with the late APJ Abdul Kalam on several defense projects and books. Can you share some of your most cherished memories or lessons you have learned from him?
You see, he is a great person. Everybody knows about him. And the learning from him is, the important thing is, we have to work closely with him. He is very fast. He thinks differently. He is not a, step by step he doesn't go. He is a leapfrog man.
Okay.
No, if he is a leapfrog, we have to be a pole vault man. Then only you can catch him.
Yeah.
So that way your speed is very important. To think bigger things than him, then only you can reach him. So that is the learning I have got with him. That he thinks that we have to do, yes, right, we should do a cruise missile. He thinks like that. Then what cruise missile we should do, we should say that. No?
Yeah.
So that way we have to go step by step ahead of him. Then only we can catch him.
100%.
See, and that's
So,
how people feel around him.
I had
That's how people feel around him. So the way he felt with other people, that we had to think 2 steps ahead of you.
Yes.
I have to think 5 steps ahead of you.
Yeah.
So actually, what happened was that I have got 40 years experience with him.
Okay.
These 40 years, must have worked 80 years. 80 years I would have worked for 40 years.
Yes.
Then only we work up to 2 a.m. the night we work. The SLV3 time. We start our work at 9 o'clock in the morning. Then we go up to 2 a.m. Then only we go home without even taking food. So that is the way we have to work. Then only things can progress. India is one country where you have to really have a challenge. And what Dr. Kalam has done is he mobilized the young minds.
Yes.
He worked with the youth. He was not believing the people, the aged people. He believed the youth. Youth has done. For example, we were denied a supercomputer. He went all the way to America to talk to the defense secretary to get one supercomputer, Cray computer.
Okay.
They refused to him. So he came and he said that I am having a problem. I have to have a supercomputer, then only I can do the Agni program. So 14 young people joined together and they made a supercomputer in 24 months, which was 20 times faster than the Cray XMB, which was refused to us. So we have got the capability. Challenge, you have to give the challenge.
Yeah.
That is what is main contribution of Dr. Abdul Kalam is. He gave challenge to the young minds to think.
Yeah. And that is also very important because everything's changing, by generation.
Yes.
And when the youth step in, they have to carry it forward.
Yes, right.
So taking their perspective into picture is also as important.
Yes.
Dr. Kalam is known for his vision of a strong and self-reliant India. How did his vision influence your work at BrahMos Aerospace and in your other roles?
See, he used to say that India is a country which is 5th in the rank or 6th in the rank. When we launched SLV3, we were 7th in the rank.
Oh.
When we launched Agni, we are 4th in the rank. And now today's space is 4th in the world. So he always said, what is this? We are 5, 4, like that. Why not we become 1? How do you become 1? That was the challenge. So self-reliant India means you have to create everything by yourself. Then only you are self-reliant. Don't depend on others. So first challenge came to us because of the MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime, which was imposed by the developed world. We overtook them by developing technology by ourselves. We made self-reliant in the missile technology. We are today self-reliant in space technology. We are self-reliant in nuclear technology. So like that we are moving up with this self-reliant. Then we thought that we should have a total vision. So that is called self-reliance vision. That vision is for 2020, India should become a developed nation. So in 1996, we created a document, 500 of us worked together with him and created 17 documents we created to make India a developed country. Okay, we have not achieved fully. 2020 has come. We have not achieved fully, but partially we have achieved. It is not that India today is a very strong nation. So we have got not a developed nation because still poverty we have got, still we have got the problems in the country, but we have not resulted. We have not got what we wanted fully, but we have got many things we have got achieved today. So we are today a self-reliant nation in technology. Okay. Now this I have learnt from him, what influence it has made me is to make a BrahMos missile, which made India the first country.
So you would say that it was Dr. Kalam's vision that inspired you to build BrahMos?
Yes.
So
yes,
he played a
surely,
crucial
surely. So because I was in Harvard Business School at the time in 1991, when during the war, the Tomahawk played a very different role, destroying the Iraq assets. So then I spoke to him that I was in America at that time, watching closely the war. So then we thought that we should make a cruise missile. So then he said, you come back, after you come back, we will discuss about that. We discussed about that. And then he said, advised me that you go and talk to the Russians. So I went to Russia, talked to the Russians, and then Russia was the only country having a supersonic engine. So we immediately said that we want it. They were also in difficult time in 90s economically, so they were readily agreed to give the technology. So we worked with them, joint venture, and made the supersonic missile, which Americans have not done so far.
That is something that we should really be proud of. Okay, moving on to the next question. What advice would you give to young scientists and engineers who aspire to work in India's defense and space sectors? I know you've talked about creativity, but if you had to give advice to yourself back 50, 60 years, what would you say? Or if you were to give advice to your granddaughter who's currently aspiring and dreaming big, what is the number one advice that you'd give her to achieve her dreams?
See, if you look at India today, we have got a big plan for space program. We want to have our own orbiting platforms. We want astronauts to go to space. We want to go and have a place on the moon. We want to have an industry on the moon. We have got a big program like that. And also make a solar power satellite to give power from the space. So these big programs are meant for the younger people. What we are planning today is for the future. Okay? So the young minds, we are training the young minds, including that granddaughter, that there is a program of a very big nature is coming, and that will help the young people to grow. That is space. Similarly, defense. Today, India is moving to defense, space defense. All theaters of war we are working. Underwater, nuclear submarines we are building. And then we have got the missile-to-missile attack we can do. We can send a missile to hit the satellite. So satellites we are doing, then fiber optics, photonics, like that many technologies we are working, which are going to be the future. So the future is going to be a very great challenge for the young people. So that's what we have to create the situation in the country to move towards these greater technologies and focus them that we have to build a greater India. We want to be first in the world. India to be first in the world. 2000 years before, India was the first country in the world. Economically, we were doing the trade. 84% of the world trade was controlled by India. So we were superpower at that time. But we collapsed because we didn't have unity. We had generated more people than what is needed. All these things created problem, and then the different people came, and took away our wealth, the aggressions. So now we have to recreate that type of country which was there earlier. So that is going to be achieved in 2047, when the 100th year of our independence. We want to make India economic power.
It will be. In fact, recently, a few months ago in the news, I read that India is going up the charts in the economic power.
Yes.
Like with China is there on top, America is there. In fact, I think India is one of the top 5, if I'm not wrong.
No, I will tell you.
Yeah.
In the economic situation today, we are the 5th country in the world.
Yes.
In economic GDP, gross domestic products. GDP, we are 5th in the world. In 5 years' time, we are going to become the 3rd. We will overtake the Japan and Germany. We will overtake and will become the 3rd. In another 20 years, we will overtake America. Today, the China is going very close to USA. China will overtake America. In 2030, China is going to overtake America in economy. America will become 2nd, India will become 3rd. In 2047-48 or 2050, if you take, we will become 2nd next to China. USA will be 3rd. That is the way the trend is today. Because our growth rate is more than 7, whereas the US growth rate is 2. Less than 2 it goes. So that's why they will crash it now.
Of course.
Europe has already crashed.
Yeah, Europe has long time crashed. Even United Kingdom, that was a big
United
country.
Kingdom
It
is
also
completely is not there now.
Okay, moving on to the next question. You have been awarded with several prestigious awards like the Padma Bhushan and the Padma Shri. What was the feeling received while receiving these high-end honors?
So many people worked, I got the award.
Yeah.
Now I work again. If I work, will I get?
Well,
Will I get if I work?
yes, surely.
It's always a team behind, anything, any creation which happens. That's what I believe.
So would you say your team was would you be able to achieve what you've achieved without your team?
No. It is not individual. See, suppose Einstein has given a theory, it is Einstein theory.
Yeah.
It is not, BrahMos is not Pillai's BrahMos. So many people have worked for this cell program, developed technologies. That's how the whole thing came, is not. But I was a prime mover of the whole thing. That's why I got it.
So when you went up on stage, if I remember correctly, you were awarded the Padma Bhushan by the President of India at the time. When you went up on stage, did you feel like it was worth it? Like all those nights up till 2 a.m., was it all worth it because of that award at that moment?
No, see, whenever there is an award given, you will be happy, isn't it? You will be proud. You will be proud. Yeah. So what I am trying to say is that a proud moment comes because not by individuals,
Of course.
by the collective effort. But only one man can be given. That what happened, one man happened to be me. That's
Yeah, maybe the feeling that you felt was for yourself and your entire team who has worked to accomplish this goal.
Okay, moving on. What inspires you to continue contributing to India's technological advancements? And do you have any current projects or ideas that you're passionate about?
See, now today the whole world is moving towards solving the problem of climate change. So my aim is that to make the earth living. If we want to live on the earth, we have to now solve the problem of the climate change. Greenhouse generation should be stopped. So that means your fuel, what we are using now, all have to vanish and we have to bring renewable energy. Renewable energy means solar is renewable energy, then the wind has come, nuclear energy. Nuclear energy, we are trying to find out some new things like the helium-3, which I told you. And apart from that, the ocean is there. Ocean, 70% of the earth is ocean. It collects the whole heat, it collects. So that surface temperature is high, whereas inside is very cool. The temperature difference can generate energy. So that is what is required because you get large energy from the ocean. And another important thing is hydrogen. Water is H2O. So hydrogen, if you can generate hydrogen, is the best form of fuel. So we are now working, to answer to your question, I am working now on hydrogen. It is called green hydrogen. Hydrogen has got brown hydrogen, blue hydrogen, so many things are there. But green hydrogen is the one generated through clean energy. So solar and wind energy is used to generate the energy of hydrogen, which is called green energy. So that is the work we have now undertaken, and we have got a big program on that green energy. So energy is one important thing which is the focus for the future.
And we're very excited to see how that's going to come along. And with that, we come to the end of our questions for today.
But I still have one more question for Anishka, which I would like to ask her. I would like to ask you about the learnings which you have taken from Dr. Pillai. What are some things which inspire you about him? Something you would 100% tell the future generations coming.
Okay. Before I even answer that, I think I go to him more to justify me staying up late or justify me doing stuff that's not quite inspiring than when I have to look up to him. And I think that's the reason I look up to him even, because to be incredible is not a relationship. That's not what I have with him. To be me, to be Anishka, is a relationship I have with him. Even sometimes to my mom and dad, I can't be the person I am with him. I always say this one thing whenever I write anything. I say, I don't want to inform, I want to inspire. And I stole that line from him. Completely. That is not original. So that mindset shift that I had from not just being Anushka and not just people knowing my name, but people wanting to know more. People being inspired, I got that from him. And it's not always just me. There's 100 people behind me that make me who I am. So if I were to say anything to the future, I am the future generation. I'm 16. Of course. I am the young mind. So to myself, keep inspiring, keep learning, and what he said, keep acquiring knowledge.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to push me forward.
Very good. Good answer.
That is also partially stolen.
Love that answer. I think that was the best answer we've got. No, my bad. Okay. Thank you to the both of you. It was a really insightful podcast. We've learned a lot. We've gained a lot of knowledge. A little bit more from Dr. Pillai than Anushka, but that's okay. All right. So we thank you for coming here today. Your answers were truly mind-blowing. It has been an absolute honor to sit with you. You are a global inspiration for everyone around the world, especially us, the younger generation, the students. We look up to you, and we will always look up to you.
Yeah, and
Not just global, even at home.
we're always looking forward to, people like you who inspire us to bring on in our podcast, and mentioning that this is one of the most earliest podcasts which we will be releasing. We're actually very, very grateful, and it's very prestigious to have you here because it's inspiring for us, it's inspiring for the TMS students and for all our viewers. So we would like to thank you for that as well.
Okay, and with that, we wrap up. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's podcast of In Conversation With. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure to catch us.
Thank you. I would also like to thank you for your
Yes. And make sure to tune in. This is In Conversation With, signing off.